been receiving just a tad bit of criticism because in my videos covering this war in Israel, I've been mentioning that I think that the U.S. wants war with Iran. Now, people keep asking me, what makes you think that America wants war with Iran? Well, probably because our politicians have been all over the news, literally calling for war with Iran. They're literally saying that we need to bomb Iran as we speak.
Infrastructure. The money financing terrorism comes from Iran. It's time for this terrorist state to pay a price for financing and supporting all this chaos. Yes, if you're the Iranians, if it were up to me, this war escalates, I'm coming after you.
I think this is what I'm trying to clarify here, because I'm wondering if
us in Israel,
the United States and Israel.
I want to be crystal clear.
The United. Let me just understand you. Just to be clear, you're saying that you would want the United States and Israel to bomb Iran, even in the absence of direct evidence of their involvement in this attack.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've been saying that I think America wants war with Iran well before they basically came out and started publicly talking about it on the news, well before politicians started doing interviews calling for us to bomb Iran. I've been telling you all that this is the case, but now the truth is coming out. Now the true colors are showing. Meanwhile, as our politicians continue to add fuel to this fire, we have terrorist organizations threatening a worldwide day of violence tomorrow. A worldwide day of violence. And how are people responding here in America? How are young people responding to this threat? Well, let's see what's happening at colleges and university campuses around America.
They got tanks, we got hang gliders. They got tanks, we got hang gliders. Glory to the resistance fighters. Glory to the resistance fighters. Free, free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live Palestine. Settler, go back home. Settler, go back home. Palestine is our beloved. Palestine is our beloved.
Now, back in the day, like in the 1940s, if we were to have gotten this type of threat from Hamas, we would have had young men lining up in the city streets, getting ready to sign up for the army, prepared to defend America, prepared to fight for freedom. But these days, we have young kids in college chanting their support of these groups who are out here R-wording and killing women and kids in the streets of Israel. We went from having young men signing up ready to join the fight to having young men who are out here supporting the enemy. And make no mistake about it, folks, these are not young Palestinian kids. These are not kids from the Middle East. These are white kids, black kids, Asian kids, most of which have no idea why they're even there. They think they do, but they don't. But this shows the level of indoctrination that is happening in our schools in America. We're talking about this war in Israel, but there has been a war waged on our youth in America over the past few years. You thought that all you had to worry about was critical race theory? You thought all you had to worry about is this gender ideology? No. They got your kids. You're paying thousands and thousands upon thousands of dollars a year for your kids to be indoctrinated by terrorist groups in cities across America. All of these kids, privileged kids, whose parents have worked hard to put them in college. And what are they doing? They're out here going to pro-Hamas rallies, chanting, "We have hang gliders, we have hang gliders," knowing that the folks on hang gliders literally hang glided into Israel and started kidnapping women, shooting them, killing them, parading their bodies around the street. And your kids are at school supporting it. Your kids. Oh, God. Oh, you paid this amount of money to put your kid in the best college, to secure the best future possible for your kid. And instead, they come home a purple-haired, non-binary freaking terrorist. You thought they were going to come home a doctor, a lawyer. But no, they turned into a fat, weird, sexually confused terrorist. You better homeschool your kids. College is not the answer, I'm telling you right now. These kids, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them. But now tomorrow, as we all have to keep looking over our shoulders during this national or this worldwide day of violence, make no mistake about it, it's not even necessarily these people from the Middle East that we have to worry about. We have to worry about your kids doing something crazy because they have been radicalized in their college classrooms. Instead of being taught something useful, they've been radicalized into a certain ideology. There's no excuse why we're witnessing this violence spill over into the city streets of America. In Australia, massive protest in France, violence in England. Speaking of, the British Ministry of Defense just announced that they're sending ships now to link up with our American ships in Israel. Now, they're claiming that we're just showing support, and maybe we're going to use these ships to evacuate and to conduct rescue missions, trying to get some of our civilians out of the area. But it looks like the U.S. is just getting backup for a larger scale conflict that we probably already know is inevitable, but we're just not saying it yet. We're getting in position, and it's just like the war with Ukraine and Russia. I told you all, before that popped up, I said, look at how Russia is starting to move its military around. Look at the placement of these certain divisions. Why is Russia moving so much armor to this, spot on the border of Ukraine? Same thing goes with this situation. We're seeing the troop movements. We're seeing the buildup. We're getting in strategic positions, and usually you do that if you're preparing for a conflict. And that's what I think is going to happen. I'm hoping that's not the case. There are things that could happen that could prevent this from happening. But right now, as of right now, things aren't showing signs of slowing down. The only good sign that I will say that we have and I will acknowledge is that as of yet, this ground invasion that Israel has been preparing for, this ground invasion that Israel promised is imminent, it has not happened yet. We thought it was going to happen a couple of days ago. It has yet to happen. Maybe maybe they've changed their minds. Maybe they're not going to do it. Now, if Israel decides not to conduct this full-scale ground invasion, then I do think there's a possibility that tensions die down. And, of course, this will blow up again eventually, but things may calm down for a little while. But if Israel does go in and go ahead and go forward with this full-scale ground invasion, then I don't think there's any turning back. Other countries, other organizations have already promised they're going to get involved if that's the case. And America has already promised that America is going to get involved if these other countries get involved. So, recipe for disaster, but hopefully cooler, calmer heads prevail. But let's be honest, when you think of the Middle East, the last thing you think of is cool and calm. Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next video.